Hey, everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture and Justice League Monday. Now, last week, the first Monday of the year, we looked at Justice League number 1. A good place to start. We are now in the second week, the second Monday of 2025, and we're looking at Justice League number 2. You see how that works? Just want to make sure everybody's on board with this. Justice League number 2. Now, the first issue introduces the characters, introduces some of the conflicts between the characters, not major conflicts at this point. This issue is going to introduce a storyline that's going to run for a while. Now, it's going to be continued in the next issue, but it will be taken up later as well. And to be honest, the first issue did as well, because we get a taste of Maxwell Lord and his shenanigans, and trying to figure out what his involvement with the League is or what he wants it to be. But we're gonna stray from that this time around for the most part. And we're gonna meet these characters. Now, these are old characters from the 60s era Justice League. And or maybe, well, it might have been early 70s at that point. I can't recall. But I don't know that they ever give you the name of their group, because, well, they were called the Champions of Angor, and they were meant to be a kind of a DC version of Marvel's Avengers, and they're from a different planet. Now we're in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't know if they're still from another planet or another dimension or what have you. It's not that important. I will say that Marvel's version of the Justice League, the Squadron Supreme, kind of better than DC's version of the Avengers. I'm completely honest. Well, let's tuck into this. So we begin with some questioning, and let's say right off the bat, Keith Giffen with the plot and breakdowns, J.M. DeMatteis with the script, Kevin McGuire, penciler, Al Gordon with inking, Bob Lappin, letterer, Gene D'Angelo, colorist, Andrew Helfer, editor. So we're in the headquarters of the Justice League, and Batman is interrogating Dr. Light. I'll ask you again, Dr. Light, where did you get that signal device? How many times do I have to go over this, Batman? As many times as I want you to. You know, you're the most arrogant, rude son of a... Please, Doctor, it's important. That, of course, comes from the Martian Manhunter. So Batman is trying to figure out how she got a Justice League signal device. Well, we are going to ultimately find out exactly how she got it. And, he's going to check this thing out. And she's like, look, it was given to me several weeks ago. I was approached by a man who claimed to represent the League. He offered me membership, gave me the signal device. Why? How do I know why? He did. Isn't that enough? No. Give it to me. Please. So he takes it. He's going to check it out, doing his Batman thing. We got Guy Gardner annoying Black Canary and Mr. Miracle. And he's kind of saying, Gardner, you're a Green Lantern. Can't you comport yourself with more dignity? Meanwhile, on monitor duty, Blue Beetle picks up a report on the Justice League coming from this guy of Jack Ryder. Okay, on the rampage, talking about these guys. I think did he show up in the Justice League cartoon, or did they do a version of Glorious Godfrey? I can't recall now. But he's sort of your, what they call, sensational journalism. Can we trust these people? Their leader is this sullen, uncommunicative vigilante with a penchant for circumventing the law and slugging cameramen. There's an extraterrestrial. Can we trust them? Yesterday's battle, da-da-da-da-da. Mr. Miracle is a carnival performer. So they're already getting some bad press from that guy. And speaking of press, we go to Maxwell Lord. You have been watching Jack Ryder's hot seat. So it is. Mrs. Woutenhofer, please get me the Ryder file. Yes, Mr. Lord, right away. It's under C, sir. A private joke. Ms. Wutenhofer. Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me, sir, but Mr. Gold just arrived. Punctual. I like that. Hold off on writer, Mrs. Wutenhofer, and send the gentleman in. Or Ms. Wutenhofer, sorry. My dear Mr. Gold, it's a pleasure to see you. Can I get you a drink? Mr. Gold? Who are they talking about? Pony Boy? Is it Pony Boy? It's not Pony Boy. We'll meet Mr. Gold in just a moment. So Gardner wants to go down there and just beat the guy to, half to death. No, you're not going to do that. Stop behaving so infantile. Infantile. Okay. So once again, Batman, steps in. He's calling Captain Marvel Captain Whitebread. The name is Captain Marvel. Yeah, it's a marvel that anyone can stay in the same room with you without coming down with diabetes. Bad form, Guy. Say you're sorry. Guy, I'm sorry. It's a start. So, now why does Batman want him to say... Does Batman already know that this is a boy in a man's body? He's Batman. He probably knows. Batman knows everything. Okay, now we're going to get a little introduction to a storyline that's going to come along in a couple issues. We're going to meet the Gray Man. Everything is gray. What does it say? I wonder, gray. I weep. I watch. Across this world, my other selves shift and slide, reaching gray hands into dead souls, souls exploding with color, souls rich with diversity. And my gray heart grows bitter and tired and angry. Whoa, what's this dude all about? Well, we're going to get into Dr. Fate here, who's going to show up. And, of course, Dr. Fate works for the Lords of Order. So what is this gray guy? Is he, from Chaos? Is he somewhere in between? And he basically has come to warn him. And I've done that, and goodbye. So he's warning him, look, you have a destiny, one you have long accepted. Now I sense that you are tempted to throw off that destiny. If you do, what? You'll punish me? Don't you think I've been punished enough? What I think is immaterial. I have come to warn you. I have done that. Goodbye. So, pretty terse with the guy, but he knows the Gray Man is thinking of doing something. And he's telling him he really shouldn't. So, let's flash back into the main storyline for this particular book. And the nation of Bealia. Now, Bealia is a Middle Eastern nation. We're going to see, if not in this issue and the next, that it seems like it borders Israel. I think it's somewhat a stand-in for like Syria, but it's probably got some aspects of Iraq as well. And the soldiers there are freaking out, and they are under attack by the Silver Sorceress, Wandjina, and Blue Jay. And so you could probably figure out, in terms of them being versions of the Avengers, Scarlet Witch, he would be Thor, and he would be Ant-Man. No Wasp in this one, although they did have a guy called Captain Speed, who would be like Quicksilver. So there we go. So these guys are attacking Bealia. And I already mentioned, they don't come from around here. So what are they doing that for? Boy, Wandjina looks angry. I'll tell you what, if you shave Thor's head, man, he might look just as scary. Well, what they're doing is they're attacking nuclear missile silos in Bealia. And they're saying, yeah, you Americans, you think you could blah, blah, blah. And he's like, fools, we're not Americans. We don't give a damn about your borders and boundaries, about your petty disputes. And he throws that missile up in the air, and the Silver Sorceress does some magic, some voodoo, and it, poof, literally, poof, disappears. And if the Sorceress wanted to, she could reverse that warp and bring that missile right back down here on top of your thick skulls. What my overheated partner is trying to say is, this nation will never make war again. And at that, the leader of the nation appears, clapping, who? I am Colonel Ruman Harjavti. And I assume it's Harjavti, maybe Haryavti. I don't know for sure. I think I'll go Haryavti. leader of this small beleaguered country, and I welcome you, my friends, with open arms and a heart brimming over with gratitude. You're welcoming us? And why shouldn't I welcome you? Well, the fact that we just destroyed your silo, a minor annoyance. We've seen his kind before, Wangina. He stinks of blood and deception. Perhaps, perhaps not. Let him talk. He'll either prove you wrong or hang himself. So this guy is going to be a thorn in the side of the Justice League and Justice League Europe later for quite some time. Well, if not him, then people associated with him. So his introduction is kind of a big deal in this series, kind of a silver-tongued devil. He brings them in. He's got a plan, and I like this. I think the Colonel's getting ideas again. Yeah, and whenever he gets ideas, we end up getting shot at. And if you've been following news, you know that, well, nothing's really changed in the Middle East. So we go back to them. They've looked at the signal device, and it's like, it's not actually one of ours. In fact, it is a superior copy to ours. Captain Marvel rushes in, gosh, you need to see what's on the news. It's crazy. We are not interested in Jack Ryder. It's not Ryder. Holy moly, will you just come on? And so they're all watching, and basically they're reporting on the destruction of these various silos. And Guy Gardner seems pretty happy about it. And they're kind of like, why? I love it. Let's hope those three take out every 2-bit country that's packing nukes. Nobody but Ronnie Boy should have his finger on the button. Then we'd have the world where we want it, huh? By Ronnie Boy, he's of course referring to Ronald Reagan. Again, he not only does he not have a very astute view of politics, it's not even a particularly realistic view of politics. It's like I said, he's a caricature. So you just have to, kind of put up with it. So Batman's like, warm up the bug. We're moving out. We need to go figure out what's going on. In this case, Captain Marvel and Green Lantern Guy Gardner are taking the lead. And I believe this time they were attacking in Israel. And we see Silver Sorceress and Wangina. Such destruction. No lives were lost. And I'd rather see this than I know. But sometimes I wonder if what we're doing is right. In the end, they'll thank us. And even if they don't, at least they'll be alive to hate us. At least. I took out the computers in the underground bunker. This place will never be operative again. Then I suppose we're done here at last, or at least. Yeah, but we've got a long way to go. The damn nukes, this world's infested with them. Just like home. Okay. So we're finding out about their motivations. And while they're flying off, we learn even more about it. They had a different world that they lived on. Again, Angor was what it was called once upon a time. There's a nuclear war there. Many people killed. Very few people surviving the aftermath of that nuclear war. And so when they're the only ones left, they head off to other dimensional planes, as they put it. And they've come to Earth. And they're not going to let Earth go down the same way. So they're flying along, and all of a sudden, the ring picks something up. Gotcha. And whoosh, he suddenly flies off at a different angle. Where's he going? Someplace far away, never to return? Wishful thinking. Put a tracer on his signal device. His damn ring must have found them. Hurry. So Batman's already worried about what's going to happen here. And of course, Guy Gardner goes in on the attack, grabs a hold of the Silver Sorceress. Wangina summons up a cloud, electrocutes him. He starts falling to the ground, and he is caught by Captain Marvel in a way that probably would have broken his spine, but still, it may have been looked as, a feature rather than a bug. And as he says, Captain Whitebread just saved your life. I noticed. And so now we have Mr. Miracle here, Martian Manhunter, the bug back there. All right, you three, hold it right there. It was not our intent to attack, but we must ask you to surrender now. And if we refuse, Batman, come on, man. And inside the bug, we have a little conversation between Batman and Blue Beetle. You think maybe it's too late to petition for a new Green Lantern? Hey, Bats, maybe you could wear the ring. It would only get in my way. Yeah, besides, who'd ever buy a superhero called the Green Batman? I mean, that's almost as dumb as the Blue Beetle. Well, attention, unidentified aircraft. So all of a sudden, they get this on the radio. They are entering Bialyan airspace. And Batman, you see that look on his face. He is not real thrilled here. Canary's asking, Batman, like, what are we going to do? What do? They stop and turn around. And here we see Hayafti. I knew they'd turn back. Cowards, capitalists. Why, if I'd had my way, I would have personally. What they did, they had to do. I respect that. Once, we would have done the same. Yes, of course, I respect them too. It's just that, drop it, Colonel. Well, at any rate, you three are safe here, apparently so. If any foreign army so much as set foot on Bialyan soil, it would mean war. There won't be any more wars, Colonel, not if we can help it. And I, of course, will help you. If it's nuclear arms you want, I know just the place, a veritable bear of a country, with enough weapons to bomb the planet into oblivion 12 times over. Indeed. And what country is that? Russia. Next, back in the U.S.S.R. So, we're setting some crazy stuff up here. Our champions of Angor, wanting to save the world from nuclear arms, are going to invade Russia. Now, I think you have to accept that they are desperate to end nuclear weapons on this planet to the point of maybe not thinking all that rationally. Because while he says, we don't care about your borders, your boundaries, etc., dude, you are attacking nations, and you're attacking something that they primarily use as a defense, right? We have nuclear arms. If you invade us, we might use them, so don't invade. Doing something like that is probably more likely to create tensions and potentially create a nuclear conflict than to end it. You would almost need to be somebody like Superman who could move at the speed of light and just eliminate nuclear weapons before anybody knows it's even happened. And even then, any slip up at all would be a problem. So they're not really thinking that rationally. And you could look at that and say, well, that's a real flaw with the story. I think they're trying to get across to you that they have literally seen a planet with probably billions of people on it die. Every last man, woman, and child die, either horrifically in the blasts or slowly dying from disease, radiation, poisoning, starvation afterwards. One has a hard time imagining what it would be like to have experienced something like that. So, maybe not rational, but maybe understandable that they would be doing something like this. Well, next issue, we'll see how it works out for them. Again, kind of a two-parter here. And the first longer story than we got in the first issue. And these characters will be showing up a few more times in the series. They're not going to be, prominent and showing up all the time, but they will be showing up again. So let me know in the comments what you think of Justice League #2 from June of 1987. Love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. We're going to be doing Justice League Monday every Monday in 2025 from issue 1 to issue 52 probably. I have a playlist of Justice League retrospective that you can jump into if you've missed any of these along the way. So until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.